Hey guys, I'm Mercer and welcome to a Restoration Druid PvP guide. Alright, so first, why do we pick a Resto Druid? Just because it is an extremely powerful PvP healer. The amount of hots it has is absolutely astonishing. The power behind the hots is awesome, and they are a very good survivability class combined with great mobility. So having said that, let's just jump right into it and I'll explain as I go. Let's check out our talents. So this is on my 77, but we do have the 75 talent, so I hope you guys don't mind that. So let's just jump right into it. We have Wild Charge to start with. I absolutely love this. So this has a few uses. In non-shapeshift form, you fly to an ally's position. It's like a friendly warrior charge. In bear form, charge to an enemy, immobilizing them for 4 seconds. Cat form, you leap behind an enemy, dazing them for 3 seconds. This goes very, very well with Typhoon. Moonkin form, you bound backwards to disengage from Moonkins. Travel form, you leap 20 yards forward, and aquatic form, increase swim speed by an additional 150% for 5 seconds. You could also have Displacer Beast, teleports a Druid up to 20 yards forward and activates Cat form and Prowl. I don't think I've ever used this, my fiance did, and she absolutely loves this, so I'll try that probably later on. And Feline Swiftness, increasing movement speed by an additional 15%. Personally, I just like Wild Charge. It has a lot of uses. And it's a lot more, you could use it in a lot more different situations than these two, in my opinion. At level 30, we have Nature Swiftness with a 1-minute cooldown. When activated, your next Cyclone, Entangling Roots, Healing Touch, Hibernate, Nourish, Rebirth, or Regrowth becomes instant, free, and castable in all forms. The healing and duration of this spell is increased by 50%. This is an extremely useful tool for PvP, especially as a Feral, Guardian, or Boomkin. This is a very, very, very powerful spell. You can get off a pretty big heal with this, and also good for restorations, but I do not personally have it. Renewal, 2-minute cooldown, instantly heals the Druid for 30% of maximum health, usable in all shapeshift forms. Also very good, but cooldown's a little lengthy for my liking. So I have Cenarian Ward with a 30-second cooldown. Protects a friendly target, causing any damage taken to heal the target for 4,904 every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. Gaining the healing effect consumes a Cenarian Ward, usable in all shapeshift forms, lasting for 30 seconds. So that's very, very good. Moving down to the 45 tier, we have Fairy Swarm. And what it does, Fairy Swarm rather, and what it does is grants an improved version of Fairy Fire rather, that also reduces the target's movement speed by 50% for 15 seconds. This is a ranged hamstring, basically. This is a very powerful spell. Not so much with healers, and I'm going to explain why I got to my talent choice, but for Feral Druid, Guardian Druid, this is very, very good. Mass Entanglement is another good choice for Restoration Druid. Again, the cooldown is a little bit lengthy for my liking. It's 2 minutes. Roots your target in place for 20 seconds and spreads to additional nearby enemies. Affects 5 total targets. Damage caused may interrupt the effect, usable in all shapeshift forms. That's very good, but also cooldown is a little bit lengthy. I absolutely love Typhoon. Summons a violent Typhoon that strikes targets in front of the caster within 30 yards, knocking them back and dazing them for 6 seconds. Usable in all shapeshift form. Fairy Swarm is only for one target for 50% for 15 seconds. This is for any target in front of you for 6 seconds, dazing them. And if you have a ranged DPS on 2nd or 3rd floor in Warsong Gulch, you can Wild Charge Kitty up behind him, quickly get a Typhoon off, and get that enemy down on 1st floor so your teammates can quickly deal with him. Alright, so Soul of the Forest is pretty good. We have, I'll just say the Restoration one. You gain 50% haste for your next spell when you cast Swiftman. I'll read them all actually. We have Balance. When a lunar eclipse ends, you gain 20 solar energy, and when a solar eclipse ends, you gain 20 lunar energy, basically helping you maintain good DPS and high damage quicker than without this one. Feral, your finishing moves grant 4 energy per combo point. Guardian Mangle now generates an additional 2 rage, and Restoration, you gain 50% haste for your next spell cast when you cast Swiftman. That's very, very good, because usually Swiftman is used in an emergency situation. Incarnation grants a superior shapeshifting form appropriate to your specialization for 30 seconds. You may freely shapeshift in and out of this form for the duration of incarnation. Balanced Druids get Chosen of Elune improved Moonkin form that gains 25% increased arcane and nature damage while Eclipse is active. Pharaoh, King of the Jungle, improved cat form that allows use of abilities which normally require stealth, allows the use of Prowl while in combat, and removes a positional requirement of Ravage. Very powerful. Guardian, Son of Ursoc, improved bear form that reduces the cooldown of melee damage abilities and growl to 1.5 seconds. And finally Restoration. Tree of Life form that increases healing done by 15%, armor by 120%, and enhances Life Bloom, Wild Growth, Regrowth, and Entangling Roots. Life Bloom can be put on multiple targets. Wild Growth affects 2 more targets. Regrowth is instant, and Entangling Roots is instant. But I went Force of Nature. Again, this is passive. It is very good. This is a 3-minute cooldown. This is a 1-minute cooldown. Summons 3 Trents to assist in the Druid's current combat roll for 15 seconds. Trent capabilities varies by specialization, usable in all shapeshift forms. So for my Restoration Druid, they will help me heal. And finally, we have Disorienting Roar. Invokes the spirit of Ursul to roar, disorienting all enemies within 10 yards for 3 seconds. Any damage will remove the effect, usable in all shapeshift form. We have Mighty Bash, 50-second cooldown, invokes the spirit of Ursoc to stun the target for 5 seconds, usable in all shapeshift form. And the one I pick, Ursul's Vortex, 1-minute cooldown, which is very good to keep melee DPS away from you. Conjures a Vortex of Wind at the destination location that reduces the movement speed of all enemies within 8 yards by 50%. The first time an enemy attempts to leave the vortex, winds will pull the enemy back into its center. Last 10 seconds, usable in all shapeshift forms. So that is my setup for my Restoration Druid. I really like it. I really absolutely love this spec. But if I was going to go absolute PvP, I would probably pick up Displacer Beast, Nature Swiftness, Incarnation, and I think I would leave Ursul's Vortex. That's my opinion. But this is my personal spec. Alright, let's move on to our glyphs. Glyph of Life Bloom. Casting Life Bloom on a new target grants that target as many applications as the old target had. This effect will not occur while treated in life form or when Life Bloom has less than 2 seconds. So what that means is in my videos, if you see me casting Life Bloom on another target and the next target, I'm not putting 1 stack on. I'm actually transferring my 3-stack Life Bloom to that target to get that target's health up very quickly. When you have Rejuvenation active on 3 or more targets, the cast time of your Nourish spell is reduced by 30%. Very good for dungeons, raids, and PvP. Because Nourishes are spammable. Increase the critical strike chance of your growth by 30, but removes a periodic component of the spell. This is a 100% crit, as you can see, 15,000, and if I cast it again, it'll be a crit. 15,000 again. So it teaches you the ability to Trent form, which I'm in right now. Your travel form can now be used as a mount, which is that, and increase your swim speed by an additional 50% while in aquatic form. Alright, let's talk a little bit about professions. I have Herbalism because at max level, I haven't worked on it much, but at max level it will give me haste, and haste is extremely important for Resto Druids because it makes our hots tick quicker. And I have Skinning just to increase my crit a little bit. I did not pick it solely on the bonuses I get. I just wanted my Restoration Druid on my off realm to be these professions. So let's look at our spells a little bit here. Life Bloom, I always keep this up on myself. This is my personal heal. If one of my teammates is going down very quickly, I will use that on them. But I always try and keep this up on myself. Rejuvenation I use just if people are usually at half health, I'll use it. It does do initial healing as well. So I'll use that on my friendly targets that are going down, that are continuously being attacked, just to keep them up there. Regrowth I only ever use really when it's absolutely necessary or when clear casting procs. Wild Growth I use all the time. It's always on cooldown. Healing Touch I use when I need to get a really big heal off, and Nourish is my spammable. I use my Trents basically when I have too many people on me and I need to keep running around and I can't get my hardcast regrowths off. Scenario Ward I put on anybody who needs immediate healing. Fairy Fire, throw it on rogues, especially if their cloak is down, they cannot stealth for a good, how long does this last? 30 seconds, so that's pretty good. Wild Charge, you could use it to get to an ally's position or get to an enemy's position. Like I said, it's very versatile. Ursul's Vortex, use it if you have a lot of melee on you or you're protecting your flag and they're all going to be in a bottleneck. Just use it there, slow them all down. Bark Skin, use when you're stunned and you can't heal yourself. Iron Bark is a new restoration spell since patch 5.0.4. The target skin becomes as tough as iron wood, reducing all damage taken by 20%. You can put this on friendly targets, so friendly flag carriers or other healers. Swiftmen, use when you absolutely need to heal someone to a very good amount of health. It's a lifesaver, and once you do, you're also in this circle that heals you for quite a bit. Might of Ursoc is one of your defensive. Use it when you're taking a lot of damage, but make sure you do have your hots up, because once you leave bear form, the spell will end. Dash is just whenever you need to move quicker. Tranquility is good to just top everybody up at full health, and Soothe is good against warriors and anything with an enraging effect. And Nature's Grasp, when active, anytime an enemy strikes a caster, they will become afflicted by Entangling Roots, 1 charge, so it's no longer 3 charges. Good if you have a really geared melee class on you. Entangling Roots, use it anytime you want to slow somebody down. And just moving on to right here. Cyclone, use it on healers and high DPS targets. Our mastery, we can look at this now since we're here. Your direct healing is increased by an additional 10%, and casting your direct healing spells grants you an additional 10% bonus to periodic healing for 20 seconds. So that's very good. Always get your clear cast regrowth up and your nourishes up. And wild mushrooms will actually heal our allies now, so use those on your flag carriers, and you can spread 3 out in one in a different location. So, having said that, we do have a little bit of control. We have Typhoon, we have Cyclone, we have Roots, Nature's Grasp, we can Pounce in kitty form, and Lacerate or Rake in kitty form to keep stealthies out of stealth. And key bindings on Resto Druids is not 100% needed. How I play my Resto is I just use Clique, and it's just I can put any heal I want up on my target just by using their party frame, the raid frame right here. So I don't think I missed anything. If I did, sorry about that, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. If it helped, if you learned something, if you found it entertaining or fun, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you guys very much, and as always, happy hunting. Thank you.